This conference will now be recorded.
Well, hey, everybody, I want to welcome you back to one of our Flowerful Living conversations. And we're actually starting to call them Flowerful Living Labs because there's just so many nuances of things that we've been talking about. We realize that we're going to start having some lab conversations. And as you go through the different topics that we're going to be having on YouTube, it's going to make it really great for you can just kind of pinpoint into a certain area and say, this is something I'm really interested in or something I want to share with a friend or whatever that just really resonates with me. And we would love it if you guys could have some group conversations and share some of the insights that come from just the brainstorming and just the sharing that you guys all have. So, because really that's how a lot of our conversations start on for our labs. So today we're going to be talking about imperfection with perfectionism on the internet. And boy, but all of us have had our own unique experiences. And for me, being a florist, one thing I really have been sharing with our group is that there's so many people like weddings and things that are happening that people are seeing things on the internet with Pinterest and just some of these pictures of things people see. And I'm finding a really commonality that a lot of these girls are just saying, I want it just like that. And I've been in the business for 40 years, so it's just a matter of like, well, we can take that and maybe a couple other things and make it unique to you. What do you like? What are your colors? What are you kind of sensing that you want to have for an overall theme of maybe for you and your guy and what that could look like? And they're all saying, oh no, it has to be just like the picture. And so we're really kind of looking at that from just a lot of the nuances of just things that we've been having. I have it's graduation time here with what we're recording, and I do all different kinds of custom lays and stuff like that. And I had a lady who was supposed to pick up her lay yesterday, and she called me late last night. She goes, "Oh my God, I'm so sorry. I need it first thing in the morning." And I'm like, "Yeah, no worries. You come and pick it up, and we'll be great." And she just said, and she said the time that she's supposed to pick it up, she said, I just kind of just had this mental break that I did. And it's basically, she said, I could have totally just come over and picked it up, but I chose to do something else instead. And I thought, how great. You had a mental health moment. You had a mental health hour. I think that's so great. And she kind of just took a breath when I said that. And she goes, thank you for saying that. Because I realized that, we're just going all the time. We're being pushed by just all these different things that are happening in our lives and even just being on the internet. It's just like, what's the next thing? What's the next thing? Instead of just saying, I could be the next thing. I could stop, take a breath. And you know me, I'm going to tell you to go out and, be in nature, look at the flowers, maybe go to a garden center, maybe go take a walk in the park and just allow yourself to just be there and feel the breeze on your face. Maybe look really intently at a flower and how, it's a universe right there, just waiting for you to come and have a conversation. So just think of just these little moments of being able to have, that health minute. We're going to be talking about health minutes from now on. Maybe it was like, what were you saying? It was the Doobie Brothers minute by minute or something like that for the
Minute
song.
by minute by
By
minute.
minute. And sometimes we need a minute by minute because everything is just feels like, it's all just escaping from me. And boy, I don't know about you, but we've also been talking about this about, when it comes to a sense of like, when it comes to sense of time, it's just like, boy, that day felt so long or so quick. What the heck is happening? I had a birthday and it feels like it was a year ago and it was 2 days ago. What is going on? So it's just these sharings that we're having that we would love to have you, be making comments and it was like, hey, that's what happened to me too. And I do know that, that mental minute, that miracle minute for myself that I can just be able to take a breath and be able to do. And, Maria's going to be at the end of our podcast today, we're going to be talking about just some different, invitations of being able to have this unique experiences of being in the place of having the freedom of being authentic instead of really feeling like the imperfection that we're really talking about here of just like I got to keep up with the back in the day we called it keeping up with the Joneses, when it comes to a sentence of like my next door neighbor is doing this, gosh, I got to do that. I was watching a YouTube last night and it was that same thing of like it was a cartoon, but somebody had little twinkle lights in their bedroom. It was a kid's bedroom and somebody thought, oh my gosh, they're already putting up their Christmas lights. And it was like, it's supposed to be in September or something. And the whole neighborhood just like, oh, I'll show you. And everybody started pulling out all their Christmas decorations even before Halloween. So it's just those competitions of like, I got to keep up with all these different things. Well, the invitation for me, from you, for you, is keep up with yourself. And sometimes that just means I just got to stop and breathe. Maybe make a cup of tea. Amy's going to say there, we always have our tea minutes here. have that tea and sit outside and be able to just say, I'm here and that's good enough, because it's that health minute that I need. So that's one thing that I wanted to share with that. So we're going to move on over to Kristin and have Kristin be sharing some things about, this perfectionism on the internet.
Wow, thank you. That's great. I am so amazingly imperfect that I have never ever figured out how to live the perfectionism on the internet, how to have the perfect wedding, how to have the perfect visual. I even changed my shirt today for this presentation because it didn't quite go with my background. But as I look at myself, I'm thinking, oh, there's the imperfect Kristin. But that I think has always been my saving grace is I don't know how to play that game. I learned how to make beautiful flower bouquets from Robin, and we made them for my daughter's wedding. They were beautifully imperfect. Nothing like Pinterest. And then I put them in my refrigerator and several of them froze. And so I had to pull these brown flowers out and put in just whatever I could find that was left over. And my daughter got married in the most imperfect, with the most imperfect bouquet in the most perfect way. And that's my grace. That's when I come across best in the internet, in these presentations, all the things that I do is when I just come as myself. And when I show up as myself and what is in my heart and what is beautiful to me, that is the perfect imperfectness. And I'm a nature freak. Okay, like I really, really am in nature. So I just got back from 10 days in nature. And when you walk around, not the groomed gardens in these beautiful nurseries or people's lawns that are amazing, but when you walk around nature, really nature, it is an imperfect mess. Things are tangled around things. If there's not a path going, you can't get through. You're going to get vines crawling up your legs. You have to make a place. I mean, literally, the insects land on you. And yet, it is pristinely perfect. I was trying to find a way to honor my grief that was in my heart. I had a big loss, and I was trying to find a way to honor my grief in my heart and to honor my beautiful daughter who left the planet 2 years ago in August. And so I'm meandering around, and I met with a group of people, and we made these imperfect little mandalas with flowers in the ground, and I sprinkled a little bit of her ashes in there, and I cried my tears and laid my face on the ground and cried my tears into the ground. And then you know what? This imperfect mandala, we just buried it. Do you know what I mean? We put the dirt over it and we let Mother Earth imperfectly take this energy into her heart, into her beautiful, imperfect heart. And then I walked around in nature because these are my moments, but I took a whole week, which is like amazing. I took a whole week and I wandered around in fields of daisies and in burnt forest with greenery all at the bottoms. And then I found this amazing little waterfall that just kind of appeared to me. I had to walk down metal steps from some old fire escape to get to the river at this point. Completely imperfect, right? And then I got my daughter's ashes out, and it's covered with butterflies. Okay, and I want you to say, this is not planned. This is not my perfection. This is me showing up in my life, butterflies of all kinds were all there. So I got her ashes out and I stood on the side of the waterfall and I threw the ashes in. Okay, a little bit of her. She's not quite all gone. And guess what happened? She was covered. She covered me from head to toe. I had my daughter all about me. Ashes stuck on me. I was covered in ashes and her. And so what did I have to do in this imperfect moment of a celebration of life? It certainly wasn't a perfect, wonderful end of life celebration. What did I have to do? I had to get in to get her ashes off of me. And then I had the most amazing bath in this waterfall with the butterflies, and she rinsed off of me, and we both flowed down the river. This is what it is. This is what Robin is trying to say. It is the perfect moment to connect with yourself and say, what is my wedding bouquet? What is my celebration of life offering? How do I want to celebrate or honor my grief, my joy? We talked yesterday about people have these huge parties to welcome their being, the sex naming of their being into their belly. And what if it was just a small party and you wrapped your arms around your belly and said, oh, I'm so glad you're here. I'm so glad you're coming to me. Oh. And I would encourage you to strive less for perfection, to strive to be less beautiful on the internet, and to be more authentic, to have that moment and to really share what life is for you and how you delight, how you light up, and how you're sad. And so that's about it. What I have to share. And I just really want to encourage you. Please take the moment to be as imperfect and unlike anybody else as you are. Be a wild forest that's tangled all over, and honor that. All right, I think Amy, you're up next.
Here we go. Nice deep breath. Imperfectly perfect. So I want to take perfection to work. Ready? So I had a training last week. Yay! I had a training last week on customer service, and I worked really hard to make it really good, and I had everything ready, had all these pieces of paper and all these great things. And, I just really worked hard, imagined myself doing it. And so it was scheduled for 10 o'clock in the morning. So I was going to be there at 9:30. I've been working with this group, a bunch of leaders for a long time. So I'm always a half hour early. So I leave about, 10 minutes to 9, and I'm driving, perfect weather, everything's great, the traffic's great. I get a call from the HR director, and then there was this moment of silence, and I'm like, is everything okay? He said, we were supposed to start at 9. Where are you? And I'm like, well, I had us down for 10, and I took a nice deep breath. I took my moment. I took a breath, and I went, what do you want to do? How can I support you? And how can I support the group? And he said, how soon can you get here? I said, 15 minutes, which would be about 9:20. And I said, I'd be more than willing to, get there, come in, and just start at that moment. And he said, okay. So I drove, I parked, I ran in, and the guard and I know each other, and he was making fun of me. And I'm like, dude, I'm always here a half hour early. Why did you, if I wasn't there at 1:45, why didn't you call me? I didn't say that. I didn't say that. I didn't say that. So I got in, I had all my pieces of paper. I had my plan, how wonderful I was going to be. And I just threw that all out the window. And I took a breath. I had everybody take a breath with me. And number one, I honored them for staying and thanked them for staying. I said, I'm so sorry we had this confusion. And the topic is customer service. And I want, from my perspective, I wish I had checked differently. I wish things were different. I am sorry. Let's go forward. And then I had everybody in the room say their name and what is it they wanted to get out of today. And we had the most beautiful, deep conversations. The real stuff came up because they saw how I was vulnerable and went, here we go. And yeah, it was so beautiful and it was so imperfect. And I didn't hardly do anything I planned, but it still went really, really well. And you'll love this. So we're walking out, and then the HR director said, "Oh, after I called you, I checked the email, and yeah, you were right. It was supposed to be 10." I'm like, but I'm really proud of me because I took that moment. I gave my moment of grace to me and to him and to everybody in that room. And because of that, it turned out much different than I imagined and much more perfect. So for me, I struggle with perfection in pretty much everything. And that's where my work addiction really, really comes in. So what I'm choosing to do today is to look at my schedule, to plan and be ready for I have a presentation tomorrow. I'm working really hard to get the worksheets done and everything ready. I'm praying about it. I'm visualizing it going in perfectly. And then I get there and I'm going to let go of the rope and let it unfold. Let it unfold. So for me, that truly is being perfect. So Maria is going to bring us home.
Well, for those who don't know me yet or who've seen me around here, I'm a doctor in genetics, ooh, and medical intuitive. Ooh. And boy, have I struggled with perfectionism and trying to be authentic. And in my practice and all the work that I've done through the years, it is a seed thought for many, many things that happen in your body. And the root is you want to be seen, you want to belong, you want to be loved at all costs. And guess what? Your body takes a toll with that. And it's a trap, especially with social media. We scroll endlessly through TikTok, Instagram, Facebook, and we want those instant success stories. And it's a trap. Perfectionism isn't just about wanting to do well, it's about believing we're never good enough unless everything looks perfect. And let me tell you something. In one of the things that I did, I was a makeup artist. And the perfection in that field makes you sick until I started to blur things. And I said, well, if I blur it, it's going to look great from afar and no one is looking at you in your face. And I'm like, I'm going to get by with this because I cannot do it in that type of perfection, right? And that leads me to other thing that it's just trapping us into the perfectionism, right? Is the Amazon effect, right? Do you know it? Do you know it? Do we all know it? It's wanting everything fast, either today or tomorrow, first thing in the morning. One click, you're going to have everything just exactly as you want it. And if you don't get it, you'll call the company and say, well, I didn't get it in 24 hours, or this was not as shown in the picture, and maybe I don't want it. The function can be the same, but you wanted the perfection. So, what's the cost of perfectionism to all of us? As a medical intuitive, it shows us body tension, anxiety. You have no idea the amount of clients that we all get here with the anxiety all ramped up because you cannot be that model, right? And you're going to get tight shoulders, headaches, digestive issues because you cannot digest the truth that you are just great the way you are. Our bodies are always listening to our thoughts. When you're chasing perfection, we're telling our bodies to be on high alert. And that stress can wear us down. So, how do you become authentic and spontaneous? What if you let go of perfectionism? Uh, as Amy and Kristin and even Robin, who's a florist, and people want exactly this arrangement instead of choosing the flowers from what they feel and what they have. One of the things is look at yourself in the mirror and say, this is me. It is just me. And I love it and I like it. Invite that real connection with yourself. Become more spontaneous. And when you're spontaneous, you're more at peace. So, why being you? It's so great. The truth here is that you have quirks. You make mistakes. You might have listened to something and then you arrived at a different time, but you could recover. You're unique, seeing the world with your own eyes. That's what makes you special. That's what makes you magnetic, right? With the energy around you. And you're given permission to be yourself. So I want to finish this. I want a small exercise. I want everybody grab your phone right now. Don't fix your hair. Don't adjust the lighting. Don't put a filter. Don't do anything. And just capture yourself just the way you are. Great. Now I want you to look at that photo and notice without judgment, just like a neutral observer. And maybe your mind it's gonna go into, I look tired. I just woke up. What was I thinking taking this picture? This is not my angle. It should have been this way or this way, right? My skin, it's not looking great. It's dry. It's oily. Just notice those thoughts and let them go. Let them pass. Let them pass. Use your breathing and go again. And now look at the picture again. And I want you to write down what genuinely you like about yourself in this picture. And it could be your attitude, your fearlessness, maybe your eyes have a twinkle, maybe your energy. If you could see energy, maybe you go, wow, I notice that there is a magenta glow around me, right? Maybe you could say, well, I admire the courage of seeing the picture, right? And that is your exercise. What we in Flowerful Living want you to do to make this fun is publish that picture. Go to our Flowerful Living Community on Facebook and publish your picture, or just publish it on social media. And you're going to use two hashtags. Hashtag perfectly imperfect me, and the other hashtag Flowerful Living Community. And I want you to invite others to join. Tag your friends, tag your family to be perfectly imperfect me. And what's the point of this activity? Is to accept yourself, practice embodiment, practice self acceptance, practice authenticity. It is a gentle reminder that you are enough. The only one that needs to see you is you. The only one that needs to love you, it's yourself. You're more than enough, and it's wonderful. So don't let this mask of perfectionism to wear you down. Being authentic, it's lighter. Kristin, you see, she had all these experiences and she has this air of being so light. Amy had a problem that was totally unsuspected. She took breath, made herself light, and she said, "It is what it is, and I'm delivering the best I can." And Robin, she's working all the time with this perfectionist to make a wonderful flower arrangement, right? And she somehow convinced people to use the flowers that come from their heart. And even if it doesn't look like Pinterest or Instagram or TikTok, it's going to be you. It's going to scream you. So let's celebrate being real, spontaneous, and being you.
Thank you,
Thank you
Maria.
for listening.
And we want, we're imperfectly perfect. We've been meeting together for many years, and we are really called, we want to support our world with simple, easy tools and loving support. So please join us. Robin, I'm sure, got caught up in work. That's kind of what happens. So she kind of disappeared on us. So that's imperfect. My husband called at the beginning of this. That's imperfect, but we're doing it anyway. We're doing it anyway. So we want you to join us and be part of our community, whatever way that looks for you.
So go to Flowerful Living Community on Facebook, be part of it, and remember to use the hashtags. See you next week.